Now on Nerve Radio, despite a complete and total lack of popular demand, we reluctantly present the concluding part of The Mysterious Case of the Sherlock Holmes Pastiche.
Last time, our intrepid heroes Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson faced a dire threat. The evil People's Republic of Militant Housewives had stolen the plans to a British super weapon. At the request of Her Majesty's government, Holmes and Watson journeyed to West Berlin, but not before the famous detective's deductive capabilities had taken some hard knocks. Once there, though, they were swiftly apprehended by spies in the employ of the People's Republic. We now rejoin the action as Holmes flies the coop, leaving his colleague in enemy hands.
Easy. I'm on top of the wall. Hang in there, old friend, and I shall return with help presently.
Guess that's it. Typical. All alone. They also got this rock for company. Huh? What? Look here, I'm perfectly sober.
Tada!
My God.
Oh, нет, you give me delusions of grandeur.
I say, are you Mr. Isaac?
Isaac Cook, a defective KGB agent, ex-member of Soviet Olympic gymnastics team, and all-around fabulous man.
What was that you were saying about delusions of grandeur?
Yeah. Oh, this is an example of the dry British wit, not a good one, but one nonetheless.
Well, if you say so.
So, you are Dr. John Watson. I have heard lots about you. Great admirer of your work. I here in West Berlin to meet you and your detective friend. Why he not here?
You just missed him. He's made good his escape over this bally wall.
Impressive. But why you not accompany him?
Oh, well, that's Sherlock for you. He hardly ever tells me anything. Last couple of days he's been insufferable. Look, are you going to get me out of here or what?
I'm just going to do that now, if you give me the chance, Dr. Watson, with your chit-chat. Oh, look at me, I'm British, blah, blah, blah. Now, observe.
A skeleton key?
I possess several. We KGB agents had extensive network of spies infiltrating the People's Militant White House Republic's own network of spies. To be specific, KGB's Team 1 was spying on these spies for many months, but Team 1 was being spied upon by other spies. So my job was to spy on the spies who were spying on our other spies. Now, as defective KGB double agent, I have to spy upon the spies with whom I used to work, while they spy on the spies who are spying on the spies who spied on the spies who kidnapped you.
Sounds jolly complicated, but how do you ensure you're not being spied upon yourself?
Have not thought of that. Aha, door is open. After you, Dr. Watson?
Well, now what?
Now we must get out of building. Enemy agents could be upon us at any moment.
How do you propose to do that?
In times when I need quick getaway, I pretend I am being pursued by armed killers out to kill me. Sometimes they are armed, sometimes they are not. Sometimes they carry teddy bears, sometimes they do not.
Jolly good. Well, what on earth did you do that for?
I am method actor, da?
You know, I'm not entirely sure, but I think I'm going to dislike you so much.
What, you may have been wondering, has happened to Holmes while these shenanigans were occurring in that den of scum and villainy? Well, let us find out!
Ever since the wall went up, people have been acting very oddly. It's done something to people's heads. Life as a Berliner policeman officer used to be uneventful. That is what made it an attractive career choice for speculative thinkers such as myself. We'd have time on the beat to ponder questions of universal importance, like why are vaults designed so that rainwater always collects in massive puddles next to bus stops, or why do they bleach flour to remove its natural creamy yellow color for no apparent reason, or even where can I buy a nice hot sauerkraut these days? Now, of course, the only question we have time to ask is, why is there so much crime all of a sudden? Or occasionally, did he fire 6 shots, or just 5? And this question rising from confusion during all the commotion, and furthermore, do I feel lucky?
I say, excuse me, officer. Hello?
And that's another thing. Damned British tourists strolling around bold as brass, waving their arms about Not even bothering to pick up the language. 2 vowed vars and they think they own the blasted place.
Normally I'm not a prejudiced fellow, but sir, with the success of my mission hanging in the balance, I do not need a police officer who talks to himself and ignores attempts to gain his attention.
Fine. What is it you be wanting?
Time is short. I will have to summarize the situation in the form of interpretive dance.
You're working for your government on a secret mission which has led you here. You and your friend, who goes by the name Watson, were kidnapped by socialist spies. You have only just escaped, and you need my assistance to free your friend? Is that everything?
Just about.
Do you think I am some kind of fool?
I have nothing but respect for policemen, regardless of their intelligence. Or indeed lack thereof.
Oh yeah, is that so? Tell me then of the mission of yours.
I'm afraid I am not at liberty to divulge its nature to you. If I were, I would have to kill you.
Threatening the life of a police officer, mein Gott!
What are you doing?
They have not had a good rest in weeks. Don't come quietly, it spoils the fun.
We've had a request from a Ms. Sharon Evans of Redlinch, Wiltshire. She's asked for a recitation of Robin Thicke and Miley Cyrus's live performance of Blurred Lines. Sharon, get a life.
Well, now what?
We wait until boss reaches and stop next to Berlin Wall. We scale wall and travel over rooftops to the Capitol building, the very headquarters of the despotic rulers of the People's House Militant Wives Republic. The stone building, retrieve plans, whatever. You know, I like to say...
Whatever? Whatever!
I wasn't done with my line, you know, whatever. I have seen enough heist films to learn that if characters' plans are discussed at great detail beforehand, something goes terribly wrong with plans, so decided not to elaborate further to be on the safe side. You know, I like to keep things loose.
But I'm still rather dubious about this strategy. For one, I'm not an ex-Olympic gymnast. No scaling moves for me. And for another, what about Holmes?
Mr. Holmes is man of guile and cunning, that? No doubt he is already in the midst of grand scheme.
Oh yes, that's very reassuring. And isn't having a bus stop so close to the wall rather stupid?
Da. Congratulations, Dr. Watson, on finally discovering the only place in Europe with worse public transport system than your own country. Would you like some ice to apply to that burn?
I suck.
Shut up, Mr. Watson.
Sorry to be stopping your journey, but this is a big but. There is an escaped foreigner on this bus. Settle down. This is no time to be doing impressions of the European Parliament. Das ist ein good joke, nein? Now then, and now. I'm giving you one last chance to surrender. This bus will not move unless you do.
Officer, I am extra special agent first class Isuk Cook, deputy head of West Berlin Secret Service. Do you know what that means?
Mein Gott!
No. However, it would be helpful if we knew what foreign interloper looked like, da?
I am not sure, your awesomeness. I couldn't see his face. It was hidden behind a massive ego.
That's Holmes, alright.
Mr. Watson, please, I've got this. So, would you recognize this man if you didn't see his face again?
Yeah, immediately your dealership.
Da. Is he on this bus then?
Nein, your wonderfulness. I'm not seeing him anywhere on this bus.
Good. I'll escort you off for a little debriefing then.
What are you doing?
Allaying his suspicions. Poor man. I just made him think, and it has hurt his brain. I will meet up with you again on other side of Ironing Curtain. Go, Dr. Watson. Go.
Psst. How many times today do I have to... Holmes?
Keep your voice down or they'll all want one.
But he didn't recognize you.
I'm in disguise, you idiot.
But you don't look any different.
I know. I was disguised as myself. It's genius.
Holmes, you infernal cad.
Hush, Watson. What will people think? Besides, as you so astutely reminded me in the prison cell, there are more pressing matters. namely the theft of the plans for the most lethal super-duper weapon ever devised.
I've been trying to get that through your thick skull all day! Ah!
Calm yourself, Watson, you're getting hysterical.
I was constantly annoyed by all the different adverts on TV for loans and mortgages, so annoyed that I used to scream at my set all day. But now, with Empire Finance, I consolidated all my pre-existing irritation into one affordable and easy-to-manage daily expression of rage.
Oh, God, make it stop!
It couldn't be simpler to get an anger management plan, but don't just take my word for it. Testimonials from esteemed personages such as Sherlock Holmes and Dr. John Watson are available on our website. Subject to availability, extra information available on request. Empire Finance cannot accept responsibility if your anger management plan is damaged or in unsatisfactory condition upon delivery. Do not use the Empire Finance anger management plan if you are pregnant, have poor credit rating, or unhealthy blood pressure. Side effects of the anger management plan include but are not limited to ulcers, temporary to permanent deafness, measles, migraines, vomiting, nausea, and inability to perceive the colour purple, and development of allergies to classical literature and sunlight. Under no circumstances attempt to engage in a romantic relationship with your anger management plan or any other staff of Empire Finance, as this will invalidate your warranty. I need to breathe! Yes, dear listeners. Don't forget to breathe while listening to the radio. Not breathing while listening to the radio can be hazardous to your health. It's fast approaching midnight. Holmes and Watson creep into the dark and mysterious People's Republic of Militant Housewives by means of a cardboard box, several elastic bands, and a woman's hairnet. Trust us, it's a lot less ridiculous if we just skip over that bit and proceed straight to the action itself, as the two men approach the Capitol building. Ooh, spooky.
I quite like being a night watchman.
Shut up, I'm reading.
I mean, it's kind of like being a day watchman.
Yeah, whatever.
Only it's at night.
Excuse me, gentlemen. We're looking for the rulers of the People's, militant thingy. You wouldn't know where to find them, would you?
The People's Generals would be in the big room where all the talking happens.
Yes, but, what's the room called?
That is what it's called, the big room where all the talking happens. A proper noun, all 8 words have to be capitalised. Hyphens are optional.
Ha! You must have been up all night coming up with that name, eh, Holmes?
And, how, pray, do we gain access to this room?
Do you have an appointment?
Perhaps we do.
Can I see your appointment receipt?
You need receipts for appointments in this place?
Yes, you do. Says so in the big rule book, chapter 17, subsection 4A, how to make appointments to see the generals.
Okay. I think my edition of your big rulebook thing must be out of date.
Oh, yes, terribly out of date, I should think.
We're tourists.
On a business trip.
Here to see the generals about the fantastic local attractions.
And to discuss some really quite important diplomatical agendas.
As befits holiday in...
Businessmen.
Oh, right. Well, in that case, according to subsection 4B of the aforementioned chapter, you'll need not only a receipt, but written permission from your country's head of state.
Ah, well. But where we come from, there's a different big rulebook majiggy thing.
Oh, yes. Yes, very big. Bigger than yours, I expect.
Bigger?
Yes, so big, it runs to 3 volumes.
3 volumes?
3 volumes with 75 chapters. Each.
I feel faint.
And subsection 221B clearly states our passports give us diplomatic immunity over any other country's big rulebooks due to the
economic prestige of the English football team.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
And because you've wasted so much of our valuable time, we're permitted to blow very loud raspberries at you. See, Holmes? I'm not just a silly old fart that's commonly portrayed in film and TV adaptations of our adventures.
I concur, Watson, but there is still the small, trifling matter of the other Watchmen.
I should have realised there was more than one.
That's because while you may not be a silly old fart, I still have excellent powers of observation. Let's sneak past him and hope he doesn't notice.
Such stealth, such bravado, such a cop-out.
Place seems deserted. Strange. Should be teeming with despots and dictators. Why is it so empty? Where are they all? What's going on?
One step at a time, Watson. Try not to ask too many questions. Just stay focused. What's inside?
Some kind of meeting room. Holmes!
What is it?
Is that a bomb?
It's worse than I feared. Not only do they have the stolen plans, They have used them to construct what appears to be a working prototype.
Gad! What sort of fiendish scourge is it?
A subatomic obliteration device.
I'm sorry, I can't take seriously a weapon with the acronym SOD.
Yes, Watson.
SOD.
That is a thought.
Where's the thought? Is it really so difficult to tell the person you share your lodgings with, who has to put up with your pipe smoke and awful violin playing for countless years, what's going through your head just this once?
Later, Watson. Let us first retrieve these plans and the bomb itself and make a break for it.
Hold it, Mr. Bond. I mean Holmes.
Come out of the shadows. Come where we can see you, you blasted coward.
Now, you're not really in a position to be making demands, Dr. Watson. I am the one armed with the revolver, after all.
I recognize that voice. I last heard it at Reichenbach Falls, my alleged arch-nemesis, Professor Moriarty. I wish I could say this was a surprise, but I was wondering when you would show up.
How did you deduce that, Holmes?
Well, he has merely been the main antagonist for just about every adaptation of my life in the popular media for years now.
Well, what can I say?
I'm confused.
It is patently obvious, Watson. You have often remarked that I scoff at populist literature, but I'm aware enough of some of its more egregious tropes to recognise them. The Professor here has been manipulating events in an attempt to make for what might be termed a dramatic third act reveal. Furthermore, it will no doubt turn out that some of the people we have encountered on our mission will have been this scoundrel all along.
But he looks nothing like Moriarty. He's wearing a dress.
I am at least as good a master of disguise as your colleague. I even spent months in the Russian Olympic gymnastics team. I was even posing as the caretaker in the ministry. Feel foolish now, Holmes, letting me go like that when it was me all along. Look, would you mind if I did an evil laugh? Just the one, though, I promise.
I sense that you're going to anyway. Okay, alright, that's enough. Oh, ha, ha, ha. Hardy, 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 ha. Oh, we've got her. Hardy, hardy, ha.
Mr. Holmes, please, you're making a fool of yourself.
You're making a fool of yourself.
It's literally what I just said. Now, do you know what this is, Sherlock? Exercise those deductive skills you're always bragging about.
I can only imagine it's some kind of remote trigger for the subatomic obliteration device.
No. Well, yes, but once you're both locked in here and I'm safely away, I'll blow you into constituent molecules. A satisfying end to this little debacle.
Is it not unwise to use your only working SOD to kill us? For one thing, you'd be incinerating the weapon plans and the explosion as well.
Do you really think I haven't already made copies? Tut, tut, my dear. Now, I wish I'd said something slightly less gay to end the tut-tut. So instead, I shall simply lock you in. Goodbye!
This may well be the proverbial... Damn that Moriarty!
Looks like this is it. Looks like this is the end of the road, Holmes.
And to think I will never know who won The Apprentice.
Is that all you can think about, Holmes?
Well, I was rather hoping that Aaron, Lord of Sugar, would be carted off in disgrace by some broadcasting standards body before the finale, but there we go.
Holmes, why on earth is there a sledgehammer in the room?
It's a croquet mallet, Watson, and now is not the time to be playing games! What are you doing with that?
Fusing the bomb!
That was surprisingly effective. Once again, my dearest Watson, I fear I have underestimated you.
Don't mention it.
Naturally, I shall not. Now, how do you propose we escape this locked room? How shall we go about finding this copy of the plans? And what will happen if and when Moriarty realizes his bomb has been sabotaged?
Spat on my face!
I'm sorry, I was getting into the moment.
2 days have passed. nothing more has been heard of Professor Moriarty. However, rumours are circulating of a peace agreement being drawn up between the Western Bloc and the People's Republic of Militant Housewives.
Holmes and Watson, meanwhile, are bound for Calais on the Orient Express.
Why do I get the feeling this is all a bit anticlimactic?
I'm not too sure, Watson. It might be some sort of dangling setup for a rematch.
Really?
Oh yes, I doubt this will be the last we hear of this affair. Somewhere out there, Watson, somewhere out there, the game is still afoot.
Bonjour, gentlemen. Would you like les snacks or le refreshment?
Yes, definitely. I wouldn't say no to that. What's on the menu?
We have les hot drinks, such as tea or coffee, served with a nice cold dish of
Revenge! Get down, Holmes!
You blackguard Holmes! Why won't you just die?
Alert the gendarmes! I have a cunning plan. On guard!
Holmes! You won't make it to the roof of the carriage, Holmes.
Why not?
Because I'm going to throw you from the train first.
Is it possible?
Shut up, Holmes!
Gendarme! Gendarme!
I am a conductor, monsieur, not a gendarme.
My friend's locked in a life or death struggle outside the carriage.
What? People aren't allowed to have life or death struggles outside? That contravenes every safety regulation.
I know, right?
They should be inside the train. We must stop them.
I will defeat you, Holmes.
This thuggish fighting is rather beneath
Well,
us.
what would you suggest instead?
A sword fight would seem more becoming of men of our stature.
Well then, isn't it lucky that I just so happen to have a couple of swords in my pockets? Shing! Sparkle, sparkle.
I thought you were just pleased to see me.
Shut up, Holmes.
Oh God! Have a impact! Ow! 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 God, how fast! Right!
Mon Dieu! Sword fighting on top of the train is expressly prohibited. Oh God!
Stop the train's approaching the Reichenbach tunnel! Get down quickly!
You'd think we would have noticed that earlier.
And thus concludes our story. Did you like it? Please, please say that you liked it. That way we get commission for a sequel. I mean, we're not getting paid for this. I'm not getting paid for this. I'll leave it at that, shall I?
In that episode of The Mysterious Case of the Sherlock Holmes Pastiche, Sherlock Holmes was played by Joe Ridley, and so was the angry German policeman. Dr. Watson was played by Ben Clarke-Booth, and Matthew Hessey was Professor Moriarty in his many guises. The two Night Watchmen were played by Josh Bruchett, and Ben Clarke-Booth and Matthew Hessey were both Shady men. The French conductor was absolutely not David Wylie, but only for taxation purposes. The announcers were David Wylie and George Locke. The play was written, directed, and faffed around with by George Locke, with additional material provided by cast and crew. It was an APS production for Nerve Radio.
Avenge me, Watson.
What?
Avenge me.
I will.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, nobody cares about Moriarty, do they? Oh, no one's going to avenge Moriarty.
Oh, you
he's
always
just
come
the
back.
villain.
You're like a
It's not
fucking
fair.
cockroach.
Holmes, you can't say that on student radio.
I'll say whatever I please.
I suppose we are dead now. What are the censors going to do?